Welcome to another reading for 0 degrees Gemini. This is Kelly Jean. We have a new moon in Taurus coming up. Time to plant seeds. Time to think about what it is we truly want and open ourselves up to the changes necessary. The Hermit. I feel like this new moon does kind of have a hermit feel, at least for Sunday, moving into Monday. There's different energy there as the moon goes into Gemini. The Eight of Swords. The Knight of Pentacles. The Eight of Wands. The Hanged Man. The Ace of Pentacles. All right, we've got some Oceanic Tarot here. There's the Magician in reverse. Travel. Imagination. Ambition. Success. The Two of Wands is about vision. The King of the Ocean is about order. The Queen of Cups is a card relating to sensitivity. Okay, so there's always somebody who believes they are in charge, that they should run things, that they know how things should be done. There's always going to be somebody trying to be in charge. That Queen of Cups is about sensitivity, intuition. Again, we start the reading with the Hermit. Yeah, you got to look within. The answers can lie within. So, I mean, you do have to do your own reasoning. We got the King of Swords here. And this guy. King of Swords operates by logic. But logic isn't always enough. You know, again, we have the Hermit card, and you need to look within to find the answers. The King of Swords talks to you about how logic is the answer, but that's not always true. Because after we have the thought about logic, we have the Tower card, which means there could be errors in our logic. Okay, we have the King of Swords again, which really can relate to your ambition. But we plug into the day-to-day grind, and we expect full-time. We expect full-time. We expect our hours not to be cut. We expect things to be a certain way, but then all of a sudden, you know, they say, oh, maybe it'll be 30 hours this week. So, you know, then you're thinking that you need to be aware that planning ahead and being logical and expecting things to be on a predictable wave, you know, things being a certain way, but yet things can fluctuate. You can go from 40 hours to 30, back to 35 hours, down to 28 hours, you know, and then you're looking at whether or not you can just trust on one thing. I think the Eight of Swords is indication of thinking outside the box, of doing things out of your norm because you feel perhaps like you're not moving forward, like you need to do more. And so when you look at needing to do more, you know, then you turn to radical ideas and you look at other ways to accomplish what you need to, whether that be saving money at the grocery store or being on a strict budget, or you just try not to purchase too much, you know, you live within your means, which some people are unsure of the economy and unsure of, you know, the state of the world and what's ahead. So, you know, you look at how you think that your ambition and your logic and your practicality and, you know, sticking to one thing is really a great thing, but then you see the Eight of Swords with that message that you need to set yourself free and not be locked in to what it is you're doing. I mean, inspiration comes when it does, and, you know, you drop messages, you know, whether it is you're a reader or you, you know, reach out to people and, you know, you guys exchange goods or services or whatever, and you try to be a bit of a entrepreneur. You try to trade, you try to bargain, you try to negotiate, you try to do new things to get yourself out of the rut of believing that just one thing is gonna be what keeps you going. Nowadays, people will work 5 days, one job, and they'll pick up another little part-time 1 day a week job somewhere else, and they will stay proactively busy to solve their problems. Here we have the Knight of Pentacles, which is about the work ethic. Okay, so you want to be having strong work ethic. In this economy, people judge, people mark a business down, people go out of their way to find flaws, whether it be secret shopper services that come through, or whether it just be a person that's a little bit disgruntled in their own life and they're envious of anyone who appears to have any sort of success. So you look at how you just want to keep your head in the game all the time, as much as possible. But you must realize that there's going to be bad days, and sometimes the best option is silence. Sometimes it is to speak up, to set yourself free. Some people like the banter, and some people just want to aggravate you. Okay, with the Six of Wands, we do have success. So, I mean, you probably will have enough success, you know, but again, it's about playing it smart. And, you know, sometimes it's just staying on that strict budget, you know, as you're saving up for something coming up ahead. You just stay on track. You stay focused. Okay. We got the Eight of Wands. Yeah, life can be full of magic. But again, we got to think outside of the box. We don't need to limit ourselves. Every time we limit ourselves, we could be fooling ourselves. And that's why I think we have that Tower. Because we could be limiting ourselves with the day-to-day ambition and doing radical things, stepping out of your comfort zone, networking with like-minded people. That can really take you places that the day-to-day can't take you. With the day-to-day, you stay within your limits, you stay within what is granted to you. You don't search for something more. And so I feel like aiming a little higher, doing something with your downtime is key. If you're always on a set shift, you have time to negotiate other projects. Yeah, the Hanged Man is about stepping out of the norm, and you look at what you think should be normal for your identity, for your ego, for who you should be. But realistically, we can become more, we can do more, we can have a vision, we can have a mission, we can have better than what we have now. Like, if you want to travel, if you don't want to be locked into one particular location, you turn to your imagination. So you look at the big picture here as far as what you really want to manifest. Okay, so the Ace of Pentacles talks about deserving abundance. I mean, realistically, while you're doing well, you set aside a little. Whether it be a few canned goods or whether it be a couple dollars. Even a couple dollars can help you down the road, but you leave it alone. You leave it alone because you want it to grow. So in welcoming abundance, we have to change. We have to do something different. I mean, perhaps abundance was not what you've always had. Perhaps you've had lack and scarcity, and perhaps you've had hard times. and you accepted that as the norm. There's people out there preaching that money is evil still, and it's not. It's a tool to get what you need. It's a tool to get the resources and the supplies you need. So there's nothing wrong with abundance. Abundance is a mindset, and it's the opposite of scarcity, and it's the opposite of the idea of just getting by. You know, you stick with just one little thing and you put all your eggs in one basket, and then one day maybe a change happens in the organization you're with, and you're not resilient, you're not ready for that change. So you look at believing in abundance, believing in yourself, believing in your own success, believing that you can think outside of the box and not be trapped anywhere. It can be a trap to just focus on one thing, one ambition, one goal, you know. If you have part of your time available, you have an ability to create more. And again, we got to participate in the magic of life. Okay? So if we want to get to that place of abundance, we consciously set intentions for the abundance. We can meditate, we can say affirmations, we can consciously aim to create rather than be scared when a tower happens because you trusted in that one job and you didn't do anything else outside of that. So I encourage everyone to be proactive and to put efforts in every day outside of your normal zone and show up with dedication. Have a vision outside of the norm. The norm is just getting by, just surviving. But what happens if something unexpected occurs? You have to be ready for that. So let's see what the angels have to say, and we'll wrap up this reading. It is about the creativity. The angels say it's about the creativity. Divine inspiration strikes at the most wonderful times. The angels remind you that the more you believe in your abilities and let your creative impulses out, the better artist you become. You start to feel more alive and powerful as you allow new, wonderful ideas into your mind. Wherever we put our energy, is where the power's at. So on this new moon, we slow down. We take the time out needed. And we know that the worries of the past are leaving. You're not going to deal with the same problems again. That's what's necessary and that's what's needed. The transformation. All things in life change, and I adapt willingly and easily. The angels want you to know that you are now coming full circle. You are ready to move into the next stage of your life, but that doesn't mean you have to forget the past completely. All of the experiences that have led up to this point have equipped you with the tools to move forward. Yeah, you can cut corners, you can buy stuff on sale, you can plan your meals ahead, you can cut the coupons. There's things that you can do to empower yourself as you step into the future. You have to logically think about what you do each step of the way. Thank you so much for joining me. Enjoy the rest of Taurus season. Enjoy this new moon. Thanks for watching.